Okay, I'm not done yet. Not quite. I think I'm just going to do one more lesson for this book before I take it back to the library. But I wanted to show you this one, and it's got to do with this cover right here. This cover drawing. Which combines the knight and the horse. 'Tis the jousting knight. Let's take a look at this. Let me adjust the lighting a little bit more. Whoa, too bright. So you can see here, in a joust, knights fought on the one-to-one basis. The knights charge at each other at great speed and try to knock each other off their horses. And curved, and in here you got the 1, 2, 3, and then this bad boy 4. So I got the bigger pad of paper here because this is a little bit more detailed drawing horizontally wise. And let's take a look at the notes I have here. Right here it says, draw in basic shapes for the knight's head, body, and hips. Add a curved line from the head down the neck and then across the back. Okay, the horse there. This is the knight's body, obviously. Here's his leg, the hindquarters, and add a line for the knight's leg. Yep, add a circular shape for the head and 2 larger ones for the body. These 3 parts are always important when drawing a horse. The side profile. So let's give it a shot here. Part 1. Let's put it right here. Let's do. Okay, now I got some room here. So let me do. I'm going to do his spinal cord there. A line just for his body, just to give me something, a foundation here. So here, I'm going to do the, actually they have the oval right here. It's kind of like a snowman. And then his hips resting on the horse. And then up here, I'm going to do that circle for the neck because they're into doing these circles. Hopefully it's not too bright. I've been doing some experimenting with the lighting, I'm sure you've noticed. Here we go. They made it kind of square, you know, kind of shaped already instead of doing the circle egg. They kind of made it for the helmet already. I forgot what shape that's called. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know the shape that has 5 sides, let me know in the comments. As always, so let's do the horse. Actually, let's put the leg down here. It's kind of coming off there. And make sure the leg is taller than the body. Almost by twice. So, but make sure this part, the femur and all that, a little bit longer than the calf. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. And just do this measurement with your fingers. Oh, sorry. Alright, now let's do the horse. And horse is going to come up here. About right here. Right in the middle here is where the top of the horse head's going to be. I'm going to do a circle. Kind of an oval. It's more of an oval. And then back here, big, huge circle for the rear. And then right here, just behind the leg, an even bigger circle for this torso. Seems to be the biggest part of the body right there. And you can kind of guess, I'm going to fill that in eventually in the next step. But that's the first step. Okay. Good, I left some room for the legs here. There and there. And I'm going to tackle that next. So let's take a look at this book here. Hopefully you can see that all right. Sketch in the horse's muzzle. Yep. Then sketch in the flowing tail. Draw a curved line down the neck and around the belly. Draw the horse's legs and hooves, and add circles to indicate the joints. It's probably the hardest part about the whole drawing right there. We can do this. Like I said, let's do that neck. Okay, comes down about there. Let's do the muzzle. Alright, let's go put in the tail. Okay, and now let's put in the body at kind of an angle here. Okay, now we could put in the legs. Let's do the hind legs first. Now they're both kind of coming out. This is the toughest part about horses, I think, is drawing their legs and the way their legs move. This, you kind of have to use a good judgment of how far the legs go. I'll kind of look at the drawing, look back at it, keep going back and forth. And here, see, the other leg goes right underneath this one, comes out. Yeah, horses' legs are, they take practice. Here's the other hoof. Okay. Now that I established that, I want to make sure the other hoof is on the same plane. So I do a quick straight line for it to be on that. Let's draw the other leg coming straight down. And then the joint is almost matching up with this one over here. Again, going straight down or at an angle. And then this joint matches this one. And then it comes down to that hoof. Very good. And then this one over here, this leg comes out. See, the way their legs move is very different than how we're used to visualizing our legs moving. But make the joints, that's just a guideline, match up with each other so they're about parallel. Okay. Now I might have made a boo-boo here. That's okay. I might have made his leg a little bit too long. They have his leg kind of come down right here and then stop right here. So I can do that. But I drew it light enough so I can kind of forgive that and erase that. Proportions. 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 That's why it's good to go back and relearn proportions, because it's easy to get screwed up on that. So the only reason why legs aren't, I mean, look at this here, legs from there to there, legs from there to there. The body needs to be shorter. Okay, so I need to kind of make these smaller so the legs can be bigger. So I'll make it about right here. Yeah, so I'm going to bring this all down. Or you can have a really big guy on the horse. You could do it that way too, but that's where it gets tricky. That's where the practice comes in a little bit. You know, that's why this is good for me too, because I learn. I relearn, you know. So get rid of all this. He's a lot smaller than I originally drew him. But the concept's still the same. In fact, let's make that a little bit right there. So now I'll do the measurement. That's better. Not perfect. Never perfect. But better. Okay. So next step, we'll put in the ears, a little bit more of the detail in the horse mouth and all that, and the knight armor. Alright, let's do the next step. Third step here. It says here, sketching the decorative fabric on the helmet. Add a saddle and belt under the horse's belly. There. And use straight lines to draw the lance. This is where my straight line practice comes in handy. Sketching the horse's eyes, ears, mouth, and nostrils indicate the horse's hood. Add reins and a stirrup. Sketching simple shapes for the knight's armor. All about shapes. So let's do the clothing of the horse. It says here, use curved flowing lines for the skirt of the horse's comparison or surcoat. Horse's comparison. That's an odd way to use that word. Okay. So let's do this here. Bring that down here. Curve it. It goes down pretty far. Alright, and curve it just under that elbow. And then bring it just under here is where the saddle's going to be. And curve this around. Okay, obviously I'm going to erase that. Alright, here, just under the guy's knee. I'm just going to bring that up. This is going to come down, and it's going to go just below the knee of the horse and come up right here. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, just following what they're doing. And here, put the faceplate on, which I'm drawing faceplates in my comic right now for these horses, the enemy's horses. And the ear kind of goes back like that. And then this plating goes over like that. And then there's this, I don't know what you call that, the horse's mouth. There's this thing that goes in the end of their mouth that the rider uses to steer. It comes out like this. I'm sure there's a name for it. And it's going to come up. Really, I should have drawn the rest of the knight first. But it's okay. Alright. And then right here, the eye. Alright. So not bad. We're going somewhere. That's most of the horse done for the step already. So let's do the knight. That's where it gets fun. So here, I'm going to put that right there. There you go. And the flowing decorative fabric, which is for the jousting. It's going to be flowing like this. Okay, it's just shapes, just shapes. Okay. Here we got the arm, and this is an upside down long U. Okay, and then part of his gauntlet coming up here. Let's finish the elbow, bring it in there. Okay, this is right there, kind of a triangle right there for the lance. Now the lance, this is where it gets a little tricky. They're drawing the line for the lance. Kind of starts here. You see, I already kind of screwed it up. Going right above the horse, just grazing, or just resting on the horse's head there. And then right here, let's do this. This takes real light pressure on the pencil, the lightest. And just have that real sketchiness technique to it. Okay. There we go, and let's put the other hand, or the other mitt hand right here, and that's holding on to this steering, whatever you call that, steering rope, steering banner. Now the saddle. Saddle kind of coming up with this rectangle here. I curved it a little bit, that's okay. And then another one right here behind his tuchus. And then they have it curved, a C, right under his thigh. And then another one right here. Okay. I'll get to that leg. Hold off on that leg. A lot going on here. I'll connect these two parts. I'm going to erase a lot, but the foundation is there. Okay. Now we can do the leg. Now it's starting to make sense. And then this is the knee pad, metal knee pad, and this goes down. Tubing. There. And then this goes down. Okay. And you have this little thing here behind this kneecap. Alright. And then that's just about it, I think. Yeah. It's mostly about it. Pull back. Not too bad. Oh, we got this stirrup or whatever. I have reins, and those are the reins, and these are the stirrups I got to put in. So right here, kind of magically coming out of nowhere, these go around his foot. These are like his pedals. I think this goes into the saddle somehow, but whatever. Okay. So I'm going to erase all this here, make it all connect. Right here, there's an elbow plating. Okay. Right there in his elbow. Okay. Alright. So there we go. Now I'm going to move on to the last step. Putting in all this detail. There's a lot. There's the design, the triangle design on the skirt and all that. Some shading. Shield on the shading on the shield. So let's go over it. Use curved flowing lines for the horse's tail. Add a crest and complete the detail on the helmet. Some shading there. There's some lines going across the shoulder. Armor. Add the shield. Yeah, there's room for that. Add a dagger, shoulder guards, and a belt. Right there. And then draw a coat of arms design on the horse's surcoat. Could be anything that you want. add tufts to the hooves, and draw a suggestion of the ground, which I did already a little bit, just putting more grass. Shade the areas where light would not reach. Its left legs right there. So right there, and right in there. Alright, and that shield, and then some shade right there under his arm, under his decorative sash fabric. Alright, I'll see you over there. Alright, so there we go. That pretty much does it. Again, never perfect, but you get the gist. You know, these could be a little bit darker, these lines. It's just really practice, you know, to prove that I can do it, that you can do it. Hopefully you've been practicing along. If not, no big deal. You know, it's okay to just practice a little part of the horse or a little part of the knight. But yeah, let's compare it. There you go. I put in some of the grass there, did some shading. Pretty close, pretty close. His leg's a little bit longer here, but that's okay. It's more extended there. And yeah, I feel that's a little bit darker there on the decoration. And the detail in the armor, I erased what I could with this kind of eraser. Really, a good eraser is just using like a pencil eraser. That way you can get in there a little bit easier. But this one's kind of finished. But there you go, my battery's running low. Give it a whirl. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's only 10 seconds a day. Thanks for watching.